Hello, our wonderful learners out there. Welcome to our virtual lesson on natural science for basic 2. What are we doing today? We want to talk about humans and the environment. That is strand. Our strand of human and the environment. Now our sub-strand is skin diseases. Skin diseases. What are we going to learn? Learning objectives. We want to identify possible causes of ringworm. Possible causes of ringworm. And also mention the signs and symptoms of ringworm diseases. Mention the signs and symptoms of ringworm diseases. Good. Previously we learned the personal hygiene, about what? Personal hygiene. So I know you know personal hygiene. You have to make sure that you keep your environment clean. Keywords that we may meet in our lesson is diseases, fungus, and the fungus, the plural form of fungus is fungi. The plural form of fungus is fungi. And then we meet what? Ringworm. Ringworm. Before we continue our lesson, I wanted to give you some examples of skin diseases. Give you some examples of skin disease you have heard before or you have seen before. Yes. I know you are going to mention one example is what? Chicken pox. One example is what? Chicken pox. Yes. You also mentioned eczema. This will affect the skin. And then ringworm. You can see etc. Continue. So chickenpox, eczema, and ringworm. And what we want to talk about today is ringworm. What we want to talk about today is ringworm. Good. You know, we get different type of disease, but the main disease, the common disease we can see is what? The one that affects our skin. The one that affects our skin. And we want to talk about what? The causes of the ringworm and then the symptoms of ringworm. So, what is ringworm at all? Ringworm is an infection caused by fungi on the skin, hair, and nails called dermatophytes. When you say ringworm can affect any part of our body. It can affect the scalp because our hair here, the scalp. It can also affect the joint part of our body. It can also affect even the foot or the toes part of our body. So let's look at some examples of those being affected by the skin disease called ringworm. Look at it. You see, this is the ringworm example. This is ringworm. Let's look at this one too. A girl having the infection, a boy having the infection, and a boy. Look at a girl having the infection. The ringworm on the forehead, and the ringworm here. It can affect any part. It can affect the hair. It can affect the hair. So when it affects the hair, so that's the scalp. So which children are at risk for ringworm? Which children are at risk for ringworm? Have the children, those that have poor hygiene. We talk about what? Personal hygiene. So you know personal hygiene. So if your house, your home, you don't clean it, you don't wash your hands, you don't brush your teeth, or you don't bath well, then you can contract the disease called ringworm. So if you have poor hygiene, you can get the disease called ringworm. Another one, have contact with other children or pets that have ringworm. When you also play with children that have the skin disease called ringworm, you can also get the disease called ringworm. When you also play with a pet or you hold pets having the ringworm, you can also get the disease called ringworm. Look at a picture. A man holding the pets. A man holding the pets. And the pet is being affected by the disease called ringworm. Look at the ringworm on the pet. And this man is what? Is holding the pet. What will happen to this man? The man will be what? Infected by the disease called ringworm. So a person having it, when you also come closer or contact with this person, you can also get the disease called ringworm. So the advice is that when you see that someone is having the ringworm, then don't what? Have personal contact with that person. Let's talk about the symptoms of ringworm. Symptoms of ringworm. The scalp ringworm. The symptoms of the scalp ringworm. The symptoms of what? Scalp ringworm. I said we have different types of ringworm. It can affect different parts of the body. When it affects the scalp, then we say it's what? Scalp ringworm. When it affects the body, then we say it's the what? It's body ringworm. So we talk about the scalp ringworm and we talk about the body ringworm. So let's look at some of the symptoms of scalp ringworm. Scalp ringworm. So one, red scaly rash on the scalp. You see that the body, there will be red, some ring, and there will be red, scaly rash on that part, like your head, and we having that on the scalp there. When you see that, you see that that's what this person is affected by the disease called ringworm. Another one is what? Itchy scalp. If you get that, if that place is reddish and it's having some rash there, the next thing is what? You'll be having some itchy. The place will be itching you. That place will be what? Itching you. Then you know that no, you have been affected by the disease called ringworm. And then the next thing is what? Hair loss on the scalp. Hair loss on the scalp. So you see, when you get the disease, the ringworm, it can also what? It will make that place, the hair will break off, will remove from there. So you get what? Hair loss. So there will be no hair there. Or if the hair is bushy, it will break it. Another thing is what? Rash elsewhere on the body. You can get rash anywhere, any part of your body too. So this disease, as we are talking of, is a contagious disease. When I mention the word contagious, meaning that it can spread through personal contact with another person. So when your friend is having the disease, the ringworm, you can also get it. So we see the disease is contagious, meaning that when you are having the disease and your friend comes closer to you, contact you, your friend will also get the disease. So it's what? It's a contagious disease. So these are some of the symptoms of ringworm. Let us talk about the symptoms of the body ringworm. Symptoms of what? Body ringworm. The first one is our scalp ringworm. So the body can be this part, can be on your back here. When you have it can be somewhere here. It can be on your toes. It can be on your toes. Symptoms of what? Body ringworm. So let's talk about a rash with a ring-like appearance. A rash with a ring-like appearance. So you see some rash with what? A ring-like, to be like ring form. That's a ringworm. To be in the ring form, in the circle form. So be like ringworm appearance. You see on any part of the body. When you see that, it's no. This is also called what? Ringworm. So you see that this person is having the ringworm. Another thing is what? Itchiness. That place will be itching you well. When it's itching you, it's no. Then affected by the disease called ringworm. Another thing is what? Rings feel slightly raised. So when the ring affects the place, you see that place will raise small. To raise small, that means you have the disease called ringworm. You have the disease called ringworm. To bring our lesson, let's talk about some of the main points we have learned. We talk about what? The main causes of ringworm. And we said that ringworm is caused by fungi. It's caused by fungi. When we say ringworm, it doesn't mean that it's caused by what? Worm. No, it's not caused by worm, but it's caused by fungi. And the fungi name is dermatophyte. The fungi name is dermatophyte. But what I want to take note of is caused by fungi. Okay, it's caused by fungi, and the fungi can affect our skin, can affect the hair, and can affect the nails. When it's happening, that so you're affected by the disease called ringworm. And we also talk about what children that are at risk. Children that may not have personal hygiene or they have poor hygiene. Then we see that they are risk of getting the disease called ringworm. Another one, having contact. So those who are also risk is what? Having contact with other children or pets that have ringworm. So you may be at risk when you have personal contact with your friend that is having the disease, and also the pet that is having the disease called ringworm. And when your immune system is weak, when we say immune system is weak, meaning that maybe your immune system, you are not eating well, you are very weak, or you normally become sick, then it's easily you can also get this type of disease. And we talk about the symptoms of the scalp ringworm, and we talk about the symptoms of body ringworm. And he said that ringworm is a contagious disease. That means ringworm can affect you when it come contact with the one who is having the ringworm disease. I love you all. Stay safe. We meet again in our next video. Goodbye.